So here we are, getting towards the end of November. The holidays are upon us. But us here at Amico Forever want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. No matter what you're serving, please make it a good one and spend time with your family and friends. And cherish these moments and be thankful together.
No,
Looks like a
no,
Muppet
that was a
almost.
flamingo, not a turkey.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought we were
sure
translating to turkey. My bad.
it is
The
hot
turkeys are taking
and
over the
ready.
stream.
Woo! Oh, it is. It is all stuffed and cooked. I cannot wait to start eating this delicious, delicious bird.
Flamingo. The
All right.
other poultry meat.
Well, what is going on, everyone? We got David Camacho in the house, Mr. Sealed Games himself. We got Justy Views. We got NLG. We got
Rob, Jan Ong. Brother Mike
Camaro.
is in the house.
Sneed Chucky in the house. Jan. Stuffed Sherbert. Yeah, it's pretty much the other great meat. It is. It really is. Rad Rob. Yeah, what's happening, everyone? I know it's Thanksgiving Eve, and I know a lot of people are out. And
Yes.
And
What's up,
yeah,
ready?
What's happening? Happy Turkey Eve. I think me and Nick already got some stuff. So what do you have? You got to explain what you have.
Down mine.
It
was pretty good.
Yeah.
I took a German Dunkel, which is a dark beer. I put about an ounce of Jamaican rum in there.
Uh-huh.
And then I put like a half ounce of simple syrup in there. Mixed it together, kind of get it a nice foam. It was really funky. Kind of hoppy. Then it went sweet and like very Jamaican rum, so bananas and spices and stuff. And then finished with the Dunkel. Pretty good. Really kind of happy with it.
That's awesome, man. That is a good, sounds delicious. Cameron Hayes, Walmart shopping. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, Cameron. I think everybody's drinking tonight. Oh, be ready. Holiday cheer is one of my go-tos for the holiday. I always at least have a 6-pack on hand. Thanks for reminding me because I have to get that in the next day or so. Let's see. Where is Rab? Is he endlessly walking through the post-apocalyptic wastelands of New York? Did I miss an apocalypse? I didn't know. Whiskey. See, okay, so I'm drinking. I'm not as cool as Nick with his contraption, but I do have a Sam Adams Old Fezziwig, which is like a holiday porter style. It's really good. It's one I go to everything. And then I got my other go-to, and I know PJ's with me on this, a Blue Moon, man. I got myself a good ice cold 12-pack of Blue Moon. I just had these in the freezer. And then after that, next, I have a Dos Equis or Dos Aquas, whatever you like. So
since I finished my beer, I actually still have some whiskey. I poured myself some rye whiskey. So I have that.
Potions.
By the way, happy Thanksgiving, Potion. Thank you for stopping by.
Just dropping a wish both of you have Thanksgiving Geeks Cash and DJ. Have a good. Well, thank you, Potion Sword Run, and I hope you're feeling well, man. Check out his channel, man. He's got some. He's got the Kidney Chronicles going on, which I was really surprised about. But hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well.
I hope that kind of has a turnaround for you, man. That sucks.
Oh, here we go. Blue Moon, 1 ounce.
Have a full show. Some of the stuff I'm kind of waiting on Brad to get here because he speaks more eloquently on some things than I do. But we're going to get into some current topics that are sort of related to Amico news in a sense. Mostly for the show tonight, I think you wanted to talk Atari 50th again, right?
Oh, I was going to talk some stuff like holiday gaming, like what you do during Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Into
we were going to do like what you're thankful for and that kind of stuff. And
yeah. I mean,
like
we'll just
general holiday stuff, right? And you
holiday stuff will fly by the seat of our pants. By that time, I'm already into the Dos Equis. We'll be good.
I'm going to be feeling this shortly because rum, beer, and then I'm going to have whiskey. It's going to be a thing. Fortunately, I still have my house guest cat. I thought she was going to lead today. She's here. She's here, like being all kind of sweet and hanging out in the room with me while I stream.
That's awesome.
I would show her, but she's kind of hiding at the moment. She just kind of likes being under my desk right now. We're not sure if she's going to go home. Now they want us to keep her till Friday, and I'm like, do I have a new cat? I'm totally not opposed to having a new cat. Do I have a new cat?
That's pretty cool, though, right?
Yeah, no, she's super sweet. I love her to death. What's up, cool. Thomas?
She seemed really cool because she she was like no issues being held or anything.
No, she gets squirming. She's kind of done with it, but she's okay for a little while. It's making it hard to do video editing though, because anytime I'm in here, she seems to be upset and wants me to go back to the sofa, and I'm like, at some point, I want to work on some videos.
Thomas, man, you are in my prayers. I love you, brother. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving the best you can. And thanks for stopping in, man. I hope we can make you laugh or have a couple beers or with us or whatever.
Mike Garcia is in chat. Welcome, Mike. Sweet and Tender Hoogland is in chat.
I got to catch up here.
I'm not slurring yet. I've only had a little bit of rum.
It's Dos Equis or Dos Equis, however you want to say it.
Dos Equis? Is that what we call now? I thought it was Dos Equis.
I like to call it Dos Equis. Like Del Taco, I call Deal Taco. The only time I buy at GameStop is Black Friday. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't even really go out like Black Friday. I'm usually kind of done. Most of my Christmas shopping is actually done at this point. I have like 2 people left to buy for, and I know exactly what to get one of them. Just haven't bought it yet. And then the other one, I don't have a clue, which is why he's not done yet.
Sweet and Tender Hooligan, happy Thanksgiving to you. Yes. Speaking of Atari, says 68 Camaro, I just watched a video on 2600 homebrews. They're pretty best. Now, those are more that I got to get into. I always bring this up, that I still have it sealed. But I have the Circus Convoy, which was made by David Crane and the people that did and Gary Kitchen that did Pitfall and all those Activision games. And this is just I don't even want, it's like a love letter to those games. And it's basically a convoy of trucks, and it's all these different circus things. There's like a Pitfall, alligators are in there. And it's, I kept mine sealed because I've seen the gameplay, and it's the only Atari box game, let alone homebrew, that I have. But yeah, that seems insane too, just like the Intellivision one is. But yeah, I really need to look more into those.
I think I've seen you mention the combo before. I don't think I've seen any gameplay on it. But then I'm really bad about not jumping onto Pete's channel. And I should be better about that because Pete covers all that stuff like amazingly well. Hey, Rob. Good to see you.
Hey, guys.
We just got started.
What's happening? We just got. What are you drinking? Is really the question on this Thanksgiving Eve.
We've already started imbibing, man. Like It's right before Thanksgiving. I
Everybody's
can't get
having
too lit because I have to go out shopping again, but I plan on having a few drinks.
I just put my kids down, so I just grabbed whatever I could.
All right. I'm doing an old Fezziwig. The old Fezziwig.
Hey, everybody.
I did a weird concoction thing that I already described to everybody. I'll tell you about it later. It was pretty good. Very funky.
A dunkel, if you will.
Yes.
A dunkel, simple syrup, and rum, right?
It's simple syrup and rum.
So, man, what is everybody, is anyone actually hosting?
Red Rob. Rad Rob.
Red Rob.
Rab.
Red Rob.
Red Rob.
Yeah.
Are you guys actually hosting Thanksgiving at your homes tomorrow, or are you going somewhere else?
I'm absolutely hosting.
We're going to my parents. We kind of split duties between the parents and the in-laws. We're both sets of parents.
That's cool. I go to one of my cousins. They seem to have it's the past, like, I don't know, man, probably 8 to 10 years. They've just always had Thanksgiving. We used to like pass it around to everyone, but the older people in our family, they're all very old now, and no one really is. It's just easier for the younger people to start hosting it now. So so it's usually I have Christmas Eve. My older cousin has Christmas Day. Then my younger cousin has Thanksgiving. So anyways, we go over there for right before kickoff. We make some insane Bloody Marys with every fixin' possible, and then we watch. Usually the Lions lose, but I think they might have a chance this year. I think they just won like 3 in a row. So
what are they, like 4-6, 5 and?
I have no clue. Go sports teams and balls.
Go team, go!
The Lions.
Don't follow it. Oh yeah, Justy says he wanted you to have a giant turkey leg for the stream.
Thank you.
I don't have any turkey. We haven't cooked it yet. Matter of fact, we were still flying that this afternoon so that we can cook that tomorrow. But yeah,
Stuff and squash. Like you do.
Oh my!
What's up, King?
There he is. There he is.
Hey, Jose,
right there.
how you doing, man?
It's King Crab. King Crab. I thought tomorrow was Turkey Day, yet here sits Geeks with Cash. Oh, man. And happy Thanksgiving to you under the sea, apparently.
The crab loves us.
I don't know if crabs...
it's okay. We're just going to have a crab cake
drink under the sea. I'll be wearing my Detroit Lions DJC Turkey Bloody Mary t-shirt, available nowhere, tomorrow for the Lions game.
Blue point, Dusty.
Number 2 says, when can we expect Founders? 2023 or 2024? Well, it's going to be 2023.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but
you
know what? Go ahead and quote me on that. Go ahead and quote me on that.
Oh my god!
You know how our episodes are going to be in 2024 if this thing doesn't come out. It's just going to be just us, like, twitching.
It'll be like
until like 90 minutes goes by, like
the circles under the eyes, smoking the cigarettes, chewing the nicotine gum, doing shots, going, "Hey man, just one more year." No, I don't know. I always thought
probably not.
Yeah, no, it's got to be 2023, man. It's got to be.
God, I hope so.
Well, the company seems to, and I know they haven't announced anything, but they are pushing to get into production. So 2023 is on their radar. I think if 2024 were in discussion, they'd be looking for some other plans right now.
I'd be beyond frustrated if it's 2024.
I will not be hyped. It's 2024 tender.
There's been enough of us waiting on a console. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I get to say. We need a product. They need a product. They know this. This is not news. But yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah, this is not breaking news. We all know.
And television needs a console.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Camaro said it best. It's 2023 or bust. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Panel, did you watch?
The podcast will still keep going because we'll just find other things to talk about.
We will. It's just going to be a chill. Did you watch?
Sweet and Tender. You tagged me.
Yeah,
watched it.
did not. I did not watch it because I already knew it's going to be all the same crap.
I was waiting on Rav to get on. I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about this damn thing.
Am I?
Well, no. Sweet and Tender wants to talk about it.
Really.
There's some good data out of that as far as like good things that he was sort of trying to do in an underhanded way, and then some kind of bad things. But I was waiting on you because you say this more eloquently than I do, and I've spent most of my day kind of wanting to just, being minorly annoyed. Wow, Metal Torso with a $50 super sticker.
Goodness.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Dude.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Oh my God. Dude, thank you so much. Metal Torso in the house. By the way, a Silly Club member, so you know he's a good dude. The Silly Club is just filling up. If you haven't joined the Silly Club, do so down below. Metal Torso, that is awesome. I hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving and super sticker. Now I got to look because I don't have a sticker support on StreamYard.
You can't set these people up with super stickers and not have super sticker support.
Well, I wish I did. StreamYard doesn't do it. It has a guy on the rocket, like a pair on a rocket.
This is a scam.
Awesome. This is a scam.
Yeah. Now that everybody's got the sound clip that they want.
Yeah, right. That's not going to be clipped. But anyways, thank you, Metal Torso. You're awesome. Friend of the channel, Silly Club member. That's awesome. I didn't expect that, man. Thank you so much. But I'm sorry, Rab. You said you do have some stuff you wanted to mention about the silly video.
I don't know if anyone is going to like my take. I'm going to preface this, I think, first, because we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and because we didn't know how much we wanted to get into this. And I think we were all kind of in agreement that, our show is not a drama show. We're not a gossip show. We're not the latest, hey, he said this, and we're going to cover what someone said type of format. It's not, I think, what Chuck does with his show. I don't see Nick going in that direction at all with his show. I don't really cover that either. I don't think any of us want this to be that kind of show. That said, this is, a breaking thing. It's got a lot of views, this video that H-Bomber guy put out.
Yeah.
And I think, both, I know Nick, you saw it and you and I came to like the same conclusion. I think there was a really good message in that video that we both liked. And I think it was sidetracked by a lot of look at all of the stuff that Tommy has said. We're going to show that these are a lot of lies that Tommy has said. And we're not really in position to dispute a lot of that. I know certain things that I can turn around and disprove, but that's not really our place. There's some concerns I have with the way things are presented. I don't feel we're reporters, and I have some difficulties with this notion that YouTubers, I know a lot of times, like Review Tech USA will go and say like, oh, I can't believe I let you guys down. I didn't interview Tommy with the hard-hitting questions like I should have. First of all, YouTube was never started as a place for us to build the channel and become reporters, become journalists, be hard-hitting with our questions and get the facts. We're not equipped to do that. My wife was a reporter for over 10 years in 2 major markets in the US. I am not qualified to say I'm a reporter. I am not trained as a reporter. I don't have that kind of training or professional guidance. I don't have those sort of institutional mentors. There's no institution around me. I don't have the resources or the financials or the connections, or I'm not held to any accountability or credibility as a reporter. I am not a reporter. Nick is not a reporter. Chuck is not a reporter. So we are not really getting into the weeds on a lot of this stuff. And I'm kind of frustrated that, we are not resourcing reporters like we should, our news journalists, our reporters, newspapers.
News journalists don't care about this topic.
Of course not. And gaming journalism
would do the oof sound as a fluff piece, and they might talk to 2 people. They're not going to do a 2-hour video on it that basically becomes kind of like a directed point. Look at how bad a person Tommy is. Shame, shame, shame. Mm-hmm. When I can just look at Elon Musk on Twitter and go, this seems tame compared to what I'm seeing on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of millionaires, and most millionaires don't do a lot of really good things. They make a lot of mistakes. They do a lot of stupid stuff. They do a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah.
And it works for them because they can get away with it because they have a lot of money.
Not only can they get away with it, that's the way of the world. That's the way a lot of industries work. Is you can.
Am I happy with a lot of the stuff that came out? No. Do I have some questions? Yes. I think the main thing that I thought was kind of both. I wish had been handled a little bit better in the video, or had been handled more in the video. That kind of became sidelined with this kind of like focused. I suddenly don't like Tommy kind of turn. Was the fact that he was on a really good track for about 30 minutes in the start and like 15 minutes towards the very end, because I watched the whole thing in one stretch. Of going, these people don't get enough credit for the work they do. And that is absolutely 100% correct. There's a lot of people in multiple industries, not just video games, that don't get the credit that they deserve for the work that they do. That is a corporate problem. That is not a Tommy Tallarico Studios problem. That is a industry problem in more than one industry, for the record.
More than one industry, and it's not just an industry problem, it's a human problem. As a species, we gravitate towards, we want heroes, we want individuals that we can assign a simple story to and a simple narrative, and one person doing a thing is a simple narrative versus a lot of people putting in work to do something and make something happen, which is how most things happen. And that's been since the beginning of recorded innovation and inventions. I mean, Thomas Edison was notorious for stealing the credit from, his underlings who worked for him. Bell, the same. A lot of these guys that have, William Shockley with Bell Labs famously took the credit for, introducing the transistor, inventing the transistor. He was like the project manager who led that. He didn't do all of the research. It wasn't really his invention. He just took kind of center stage. And this is something that I think is notorious and a good topic for us to have, because we just came from one scandal in the video game industry about voiceover artists not getting recognition, not getting paid for what they do. What is their worth? What are they being, reimbursed for their work? Or are they being paid like nothing? And that became completely side railed and not about how much voice actresses and actors are getting paid, and more about whether or not this one person lied about their account of their payment scheme to return to that role. The bigger picture issue that has all of this meaning in the industry gets sidetracked for the shiny, interesting drama that is she lied. And that's the takeaway story that we end up with this. And I mean, it's a shame, and there's responsibility there. You lie and it's derailed. Part of that's on us for like not sticking with that story of how much is the Japanese voiceover actress paid? How much are voiceover actresses paid when they do this role? How much is fair payment for that role? And we just kind of talked about that for 2 days and moved on to something else. We did
number two, to address some of your points, and then we're going to wrap this up because we're not going to spend 2 hours talking about this. One, I just don't want to, and I don't think any of us.
I want to say something after you're done too.
Okay.
But then go ahead.
A lot of the stuff with Tommy and stuff I didn't know about. I didn't know about the money transaction thing, bringing that through customs. I didn't know about that at all, so I don't have anything to say on that one way or another. Tommy exaggerating things. Tommy's always exaggerated things, almost way more than he should have. It's one of the reasons a lot of us kind of wanted him to get a PR person and kind of back off.
And to have someone else to be the kind of the face of the console.
Right.
Yes.
And that would have kind of kept his kind of tall tale personality a little bit more in check, because he does exaggerate a lot. I wouldn't really call them lies. I'd call them like exaggerations for the sake that he thinks the story's more entertaining. Right. I don't think that makes him a bad person. And I don't think that makes him like a straight up liar and deceiver. The Smash Brothers thing was a silly thing to talk about, because not in H. Marmaga's points of talking about it, that Tommy says he didn't give it the review score when it obviously he gave it that review score. I don't.
Well,
really
it was also
care.
a running joke. That's also running.
I don't really care about that, to be honest. You can use that as a point of, well, he lied. Well, it was like 15, 20 years ago. He may not even remembered what score he gave it or even cared to look it up.
Well,
when he tried to make it more about the Amico, that's when I kind of checked out on it, because Tommy isn't the face of the Amico anymore. I know everybody wants him to still be, mostly so that they can bag on Tommy because they don't like Tommy. I understand if you guys don't like Tommy and you don't trust Tommy, he can come off a bit aggressive, and he can come off a bit like a salesman a lot of times, and that turns a lot of people off. He's, from talking to him more in depth, I think he's kind of a genuinely nice guy, or wants to be a genuinely nice guy. Generally tries to do what he thinks is the right thing. He just kind of wants to kind of get things done. And he was looking for avenues around that time to do that. All that stuff with Roblox and stuff like that. Now, I don't know any of the numbers on that, so don't ask me any of that. I don't know that. I don't care about that. I don't care about Roblox in general, and neither does H-Bomber Guy, for the record. He said that multiple times in his own video, that he could give two flips about Roblox and that it's evil.
Well, he has a response from someone who actually was involved with this, and yes, I did watch the whole two hours of it. So I took a lot of notes.
It was
I
2 hours.
Trying to preface it's two hours long. I mean, my problem with something like this, and why I was prefacing this stuff about like reporting and stuff, was this has a big impact. It has a big viewership. There is a narrative that was written around 25 years of sound bites to build someone, and a lot of that stuff I think was taken out of context. I mean, the stuff like with the Karma engine being like, oh yeah, we were just like a joke. The company has said on multiple occasions that they have a game design principle based around this Karma engine. I mean, you can paint it like, oh, that's a lie, it's not a real thing. Sega did the same thing with blast processing as far as a marketing term, and try to come up with something to explain.
Blast processing does do what they says it does, so long as you do it in one frame and nothing moves.
Yeah, and Karma Game Engine is not a game engine, but it's a marketing term, and they were trying to use it in that respect. And to take one particular sound clip that says this is what it is versus the other 27 sound clips where you explain more of what it was doing, I think was disingenuous. And I think a lot of my points with this that I had a problem with is it goes to lengths to paint someone as a pathological liar when I think a lot of people have a tendency to embellish, have a tendency to maybe if they're shamed by something, that the score with Smash Brothers. I don't know a lot of the backstories to some of this stuff. I do know some of these things.
If I was him, I would have just owned the Smash Brothers thing. So he doesn't like Smash Brothers. He's not the only person on the planet that doesn't like Smash Brothers. I didn't like it till Ultimate. I could have given two flips about it till Ultimate, quite frankly.
When you're caught with something embarrassing, it's easiest. It is easiest on you in the long run to just own up to it. However, a lot of people will resort to denial. You know, it depends on what the meaning of is. You know, we have a lot of public figures who will lie in public because shame or because you're trying to impress somebody. There's a lot of reasons people lie. So I found it very difficult to see someone being painted as a, you know, such a in such a pathological nature as it was done, with really no room for retort and very little actual research with the people who were in the know. Like,
did
you were talking with Roblox.
That was my question. Did he even talk to Joey?
A lot of the people that were with Tommy Tallarico Studios are currently with Intellivision, or were currently with Intellivision before layoffs, or are particularly close to people over time. This is a very small industry. A lot of people talk to each other. A lot of people are still connected. And I think to lay out something like this and not do the proper research and the proper, you know, outreach to those people who are in the know. Scott Barrett was in the comments talking about his recollections of being on the scene when that sound was captured. And that was purportedly the rationale for this video. And H-Bomber Guy's gone through and liked a lot of comments. This has had several hundred likes in response. Oh, thank you for elaborating exactly how this went down. And his memory is now like 25 years old, so this can be a little bit fuzzy. But he's giving, you know, the most accurate portrayal of, or the most insider portrayal of how this happened that anyone has given. And that wasn't tagged on the video. That wasn't highlighted. There's no follow-up video. Oh, this is what we've learned since then to correct the record. It's just, here's my take on how pathological Tommy is. And now is the onus on Tommy to turn around and say, actually, I meant this by this, or I meant this by this? Is the onus on Intellivision to go through and verify, these things? It's kind of throwing out a lot of accusations without a lot of sound bites and stuff, I think, that were out of context. And now kind of that onus is, okay, now you follow up on it. And now you have to explain, this is actually what I meant by this. This is what we mean by the Guinness World Records. Guinness delivered these 7 records. They may not exist now in the system because maybe they have been superseded. A record in 2002 is probably superseded by now in video games. So I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that I had problems with how it was presented and how
go ahead, Chuck, before we do any
go
more.
Go for it. Yeah.
Go.
Well, that the thing I know because I heard about the recaps of stuff that was talked about. So but I did not sit down and literally watch it because it's really the same. Let me put it this way: it's a 1 million+ sub channel that did a way more in-depth version of the same thing that's been going on for the past 2 years. It's digging out stuff, like you said. It's like, oh, well, he said he had 6 Guinness World Records. He only had 5. What an awful person. Or, oh my goodness, he had a Hall of Fame ring that the Yankees gave him for playing on the I
don't even think he brought that up. He's focused a lot on the Guinness World Records.
I'm just saying. Well, let me just finish.
Which Tommy legitimately has 3 straight up, and a couple of them are different records for different times that he broke the previous record.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was given to him. He can say whatever he wants, man. It's if people just throw all this stuff on because it's the fun thing to do, man. And I've known the guy for 2 years, and he's been nothing but sweet, always down to promote anybody. I mean, look at when I first met him, I was like at 100 some subs. And he was like, "Hey, man, let's see if we can, blah blah blah." He was.
I think I was at 100. I think I was at 125, and he was more than happy.
The guy was always. He's always trying to help people, man. And he's never. I've never
seen small YouTubers is an insult strategy. That is like it's a waste of time, and it is like it's pathetic that he does. It's a micro influencer strategy. It's an actual strategy in marketing that people pursue, but it's used like, why is he talking to these losers? Because they're the only ones that'll listen to him and do things. It's
because he's generally a gamer.
Well,
he literally is generally
my interest in this console does not focus around Tommy. It does not begin and end with Tommy.
Likewise,
it mostly
this has nothing to do with the console. Let me
starts with these guys here.
Let me just finish, please, because I got to get this.
I'm sorry. Go.
And I'll let you guys talk. I have to do this. So
I've said a lot.
The thing, first of all, it has nothing to do with friggin' Intellivision. I mean, Phil's the CEO of Intellivision right now. Me and Mike are doing some testing. Like literally, I know the console exists. I know it's coming out. It's not a scam. This was Tommy's dream to bring this to fruition from when Keith Robinson wanted to do a new Intellivision. This whole thing would never have happened without Tommy. But that's right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the constant just attack and smearing of Tommy because it's the fun thing to do right now in this retro YouTube community. This guy, all he did was do a more in-depth professional, like I said, he's a 1 million+ subs channel that's getting more attention on it because he's like, man, I can make some money and some clicks off this. And I guarantee you he made a lot off of that. But the one thing is most of this stuff, you could just look up the serious facts. Like, and I'll just put up another example. Is there's this thing going around. Look at all these celebrities where they Photoshop Tommy Tallarico shirts on them. What a loser, blah, blah, blah. Dude, that was a running joke between Electric Playground and Tommy, and they did that on the website and like years ago. The joke was that they Photoshopped shirts. Didn't
they show that on Electric Playground? I haven't watched Electric Playground. I've just heard stories.
But I'm saying you're rehashing stuff and making it like it's this big deal. Same with like the awards or the Hall of Fame stuff. Do we really care that much? Like he said this was a bottle cap, not a bottle opener. Like it's really getting so nitpicky, and I don't really see most of these facts holding up. Do I know everything? I don't. But from meeting the guy, he's genuine, he's nice, and yeah, I still keep in touch with them for people that think I don't. But that's all I have to say on a personal level on that. As far as Intellivision, this console, this has nothing to do with that. So I'd like to get back to talking games and some Thanksgiving stuff, but continued what you were going to say.
Absolutely. I won't go any further into it. I didn't want to go kind of line item by line item with all of this stuff.
No, I'm not going over every line item. I'm not doing that. This isn't that's not what this podcast is for. Okay.
Yeah.
Realistically, at the end of the day, this podcast is to hang out with you guys, the chat, and to talk games. That's really all it's about. Whether it's the Amico, whether it's Sega, whether it's TurboGrafx, whether it's modern, whether it's retro, whatever, whatever we're interested in at the time, that's what we want to bring to you guys. The main reason I'm still here, like I said when Chuck was here, is these two guys right here. If the console comes out, great. I have a console. I don't expect anything. I don't get paid anything. I don't care one way or another. If it comes out, I have a product. If not, I took a risk on a startup company, and I feel like that's what I wanted to do. I still stand by that. I still want the product. Anything that goes around Tommy or any of this other stuff that goes on, if they can bring out the console, that's all I want them to do. I want them to focus on bringing out the console. So I'm hoping they're ignoring this and all this other drama and just currently working on bringing out a console. Because at the end of the day, that's everybody's biggest complaint. I haven't got my refund and there's no console. Well, we bring out the console and we get you your refund.
What's up, Zeno?
What's next?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we all just either walk away like we did with the VCS.
There will be cliff
and
notes,
let people play it that want to have fun with it. I don't think you guys gave the VCS this much hell, quite frankly. And it seems like the retro community has become a community that anytime anything new that comes out that's not a flashback, that uses an old IP that somehow you think you own to do something new, you get your hackles up.
Only do 4.
And that's bullshit because you don't own it.
Right.
Like it or not, Tommy owns a television.
No, that's not true. Tommy owns a share of it. So does Stephen Roney. So does why is the name's escaping me? Shiny Entertainment.
Dave Perry.
Dave Perry. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, there's a number of owners on among the principals.
But the point is they own it. They can do what they want to with it.
I get what Nick's point. I get what Nick's trying to say.
But I also get the audience's point as well.
Boys.
You know, you do feel sentiment attachment to it. You do feel like you have a personal emotional investment in something like the Intellivision brand. And you have a personal emotional attachment in something like Atari. And it hurts to see someone do something with the brand that you are attached to that you disagree with. You know, that you can't just dismiss outright either. I mean, that's a valid response as well. I just think, you know, that there is a lot that I know that we know haven't had conversations with the company that they are trying to do and trying to get out and still on top. And if people think, okay, they did something that was wrong, there are avenues that you can go to address things that are legitimately wrong. If you think that something is being done that is illegal, like if they didn't report something like they should have reported with the SEC, I think still talking about Jay Allard months after he left was misleading. And it was something they needed to address, and they decided not to. And the SEC came in to clarify, to make sure that statement and any sort of misleading comments were taken care of. That is why you have organizations like that and institutions in place like that. I'm a fan of going through the appropriate channels for these things. If people feel that they are being wronged by Intellivision, voice that you are feeling wrong. I support you voicing that. I don't necessarily support a pile-on where someone cannot go and defend themselves. I think there's a point to be made. There's a point to be saying, if you think this is scam adjacent, which I think he labeled this as, then
I think he straight up called it a scam,
that institution.
But...
Yeah, I think he said it's scam adjacent for Amico. Then there is institutions in California, institutions in Delaware that you could reach out to say, have you looked into this company, what they're doing? Is someone on this? Thing. Because I feel uncomfortable. I have an investment. I have, a pre-order, and I've heard nothing. But on the flip side of that, yes, we have pre-orders that we have, and we do not have our pre-orders. And this is now going on 2 years since placing those pre-orders, going on 3 years.
I'm in the same boat. I've got a pre-order for 2 consoles. I bought 2 sets of the physical media, one of which I gave to a friend. So, I mean, that's the amount of money I put into it. I mean, it was my money. It was my money to spend.
Yeah.
And I spent it. And I told every single one of you that's gone to my channel, do your research, do your homework, invest if you think it's going to come out and you think it's going to be something you want. Otherwise, don't do it. Now, if you listen to that and you still want to come at me, I never told you to invest in Republico. I never told you to invest in Start Engine. I never told you to pre-order a console if you didn't think it was going to make it. I don't think so, son.
It was more like us talking about how much what we were doing, and how much we liked it. But it wasn't like we held people to the fire and told anyone to do anything.
I never once told anybody to pre-order. Not once. I've never once told anybody to.
Yeah, I do not want to be a review channel, so I will not be making any recommendations. I'm not telling anyone to go out and pre-order. I didn't tell anyone to go out and buy anything. There's a chasm, I think, from how some of us see what we're doing talking about the console versus being a stand-in for the company, as some of you seem to project. And not a lot of people in the audience do, but there are some that come in and I think take that tack.
Well, so if you notice, neither Chuck or I have put any real content on our channels. We are content creators. You would think that if that's all we were doing, with the, sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with my camera tonight. I'm trying to figure, if you would think that would be what we would be doing.
No, beloved, I'm saying I'm not an employee of Intellivision.
Right. We're not
getting payment from Intellivision. None of us are. I don't stand to speak for Intellivision.
We do it because we believe in it. We do it because we believe in it, and we're volunteering our time.
And for the record, not one of us is trying to distance ourselves from Amico, and I saw that pop in the chat. That's not happening here.
No.
Let me address this really quick because there's a million things going on in chat right now. PJ Smith, 1999, thank you so much. Also a Silly Club member. Thank you, PJ, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And I am drinking a Blue Moon now, so cheers. He said, if you could select the 6-pack in game yourself, what would you choose? Now, as a guy that has or has not played a lot of games, who knows? I can't say. The 6-pack in, I would do. I would do probably an Atari style game, like a retro reimagined Atari game. Just because I'm on that Atari 50th, and I know they got a lot of Atari licenses, and I know, at least I think that those are going to be planned to come out that they had mentioned.
10 of them or 12 of them.
Yeah. So that would be what
emoji charades.
Yeah. If it was like a dream game to go in I would say one of those or another Intellivision one. But right now, I'd say let's do an Atari reimagine.
If it was a dream game, you would say Burger Time or Tron.
Oh yeah, it would be Burger. Yeah, exactly.
If you could just make up anything, get He-Man on there.
Yeah.
I mean, He-Man's been on the Intellivision 4.
Well, so that's a good question.
They've got multiple cartoons running. Bring back He-Man.
So hang on. So PJ, clarify your question, because I think Nick's onto something. Are you talking about a game that is already announced and in the sphere, or are you talking about something that just whatever? It could be any game that you possibly want.
Both. You get 2 questions for one.
Oh,
he doubled down on his question. So yeah, your dream game and your of the library of games that they have announced. What one would you put on to kind of push it?
Dream game. I'd do another Dreadnought Factor.
That would be fun.
It needs a
Dreadnought Factor. That's a great one.
Yes. But but of the games that are currently in the portfolio, I think it would have been. I would pick Moon Patrol.
See, I like emoji charades for that. If it's one that already exists, and the reason is because
I can click my box right now and never mind.
That's a great group game to show off to people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, emoji charades, I love, man.
I mean, it's a great group.
Playing that in Pennsylvania was like, I was like, that'll never be for me. Why would I want some sort of mobile game of emojis? But that's not going to be fun. And there was 15 of us hovering around and all of us taking turns with the phone and just hovering around a TV, dude. Oh my God, I'm telling you, that's like buzz time on steroids. I think it's just. It's unbelievable, man. I love that. I really liked that game.
I would do, for the games I've currently seen, I would say Bomb Squad. because it seems so far out there and all the stuff that it could do.
I actually really like the idea behind that game. I think that's super cool.
Yeah,
I don't know him, but I love that game.
I was going to say emoji charades, but I had to be different from you to keep it interesting for the chat. My dream game, if I could get something on there that would be like a weird pack in, I would do. There's a mobile game called Space Team where you all play as different members of a spaceship that is self-destructing, and you have to do crazy things, increasingly crazy things, and it gets very manic, and you go around, shaking your screen, blowing on something, tapping something, doing crazy stuff to try and keep this space station from falling out of space or blowing up, whatever. It just blows up. Just a manic game that kind of gets everyone involved as a quick party game, because I think that party game mechanic is something that could really shine, and if you put that in as pack in, I think it makes the case for we should do more games like this. But I love Moon Patrol. I love emoji charades. Chuck, I don't even remember what your vote was. Bowling?
Dude. Oh yeah. Well, my ultimate dream game, if it was going to be in television, for a pack in. I don't know about a pack in. I'd rather have almost like because I love bowling so much. I'd love to have a full on physical with a poster and a whole different, I want a physical box.
Well, didn't they say physicals weren't out of the realm for the pack-in games? Like if you really wanted them, I mean, it depends on how it goes, right? If they change the way things go, maybe they remove some pack-ins or something like that to lower the cost of the console down the road or something like that. Or in the short term, who knows? I don't know what they're doing. Just throwing out ideas here. Don't say, "Oh, Nick said this," because I didn't.
Too late.
Maybe they open up the box and it says.
But I mean, stuff like that becomes an option. Then you can do like a physical release and have the coin in the card and all that other jazz and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
My Thanksgiving plans are to eat a lot. I have one friend coming over. We have a huge meal planned. We usually end up with more food than we can eat inside 2 weeks. Try to send as much home with him as we can. I've already spent 2 hours chopping onions, bell peppers, green beans, and working on a sweet potato casserole. So, sweet potatoes is my jam. Let's go, John Alvarado. Let's get sweet potatoes up on the board.
Sweet potatoes are the bomb.
I may or may not be playing with my family tomorrow.
I cannot confirm somehow.
All right.
Somehow the lighting.
So we have some people who are non-NDA playing in Amico. We need to go and harass and get some answers from those people, right?
Yes. Yes.
If you want to harass an 85-year-old man and a 79-year-old lady,
I live for that. Yes.
A motion control game with me, then you go right ahead.
Yeah, it won't end well.
PJ says, "What were the 5 and outs pack-ins now?" Oh,
skiing.
Right.
Well,
we were letting Chuck.
I was like, what am I looking at here? Does it say it on here? I thought it did. Oh, Shark, skiing, cornhole, Astro Smash,
Farkle.
Be quiet on the 6th one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at, they're just pictures. It doesn't really
yeah.
And then the 6th one, they haven't fully announced, but everybody already knows what it is. But
right. But those were the 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as I know, nobody's ever said anything about the 6th one yet. I assumed it was going to be, since they have one from
I mean, there's a screenshot of it right there, so we know.
Oh, well, I didn't pay attention to that. I'm willfully ignoring this information, sir.
John Alvarado in the house. Speaking of the guy that's been working and listening to all our, I can't say nothing, just talking shenanigans. What's happening, brother? He said, so I have a poll of the best Thanksgiving food. I can only do 4. So we have sweet potatoes, turkey, stuffing, and what was the other one? And pumpkin pie. I mean, I had to do 4, so that was it. Yeah, I could have put mashed potatoes, but sweet potatoes are already in there. But so far, it's turkey at 44, stuffing at 31, sweet potatoes. Right, you're right, John. 8%. Why are they getting such a bad rap?
Could have thrown in some crustacean appendages. It would have been.
You could have.
Crustacean appendages. That's not getting clipped.
I told you, got to earn it.
What's up, Kurt?
Well, I don't think we're getting 50 games. I think it's going to be more like 25 or 30 or something like that. I don't even know.
The 50 games that were in development stopped on several of those games as they ran into having to fund the company for extra time of not having a console release.
At least 15, right?
There's at least 15 that, or I can't say the number of how many are actually complete, have gone through every last little thing that they want to do with it. But I think it's going to be in the teens as far as what we see. And they're saving some of those games so that there's still some that get regularly released so that they have something to follow up on after the console's released.
Well, I mean, there are 14 that you can look at now. There's the 6 pack-ins, and then there's the 8 physicals.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 14 right off the bat. What else there is
comes out as new releases for that.
I mean, if you even get 14
window
out on a new console today, that's a lot.
Yeah,
they may not be games. They may not be games that you guys love, but that's a lot of releases. I mean, look at the PS5, the Switch, and the Series X. Well, okay, the Series X just had a huge back catalog, so look at new releases only for that. And you're not going to see probably more than like a handful on any of them when they first dropped. Now, the Switch has filled out enormously, but that I almost consider that like a PS4 gen console that's still kind of like trucking along into the PS5 and Series X genre, right? Or era, let's put it that way. The Series X doesn't really have a whole lot of like new stuff. There's a couple titles there, here and there. But there's not a ton of new titles even now. Same for the PlayStation.
No, they're not. The best.
Well, PlayStation 5 has a couple exclusives that aren't on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of them are. Like
most of them are cross-gen. So that's
Demon Souls isn't, but that's a remake of a PS3 game,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got
Ratchet and Clank.
You got Ratchet and Clank, which is a PS5 exclusive,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Sackboy was on PS4.
Miles Morales was on PS4.
Miles Morales was on PS4 first. So most of these are PS4/PS5.
Yeah,
they still have not, almost 3 years in, really cut the cord with the previous generation.
And they probably won't until at least the end of 2023 before we start to see more severance.
Probably not.
There's one system that had, the best launch lineup that has never been touched.
Dreamcast.
And that's the Dreamcast.
I bought like 12 titles almost immediately. It was amazing.
The Wii U had a lot.
The Wii U had a good number. Yeah. I really like my Wii U. I need to start collecting for it more, but I like the Wii U as a console. I think it's a solid console. The fact that it goes back and it plays Wii games makes it even nicer. The main reason I keep my Wii is because it plays GameCube games, so it saves me from having to keep a GameCube connected. But I mean, those. I like Nintendo consoles, though. You're not going to get much of a fight for me if a Nintendo console is good or not. I like them.
I love Nintendo
I find fun stuff on every single one of them because I'm a Nintendo fanboy. But I'm also an Xbox fanboy. But I struggle with the Xbox One. So far, I'm really enjoying my series. I love the 360, and I thought the Xbox One was a great start.
I
thought the original Xbox was a great start. The 360 was amazing, even though I had multiple of those die to Red Ring of Death. The one was a bit of a flop for me, admittedly.
Well, gets extra sales.
Yeah. I mean, I got it when it came out with Titanfall, and it was still an okay system, but I barely booted it up. There wasn't much on it.
King Crab.
See, Crab's got some love for the Sega
I know a
Saturn.
lot of people that love the Wii U.
Yeah.
Metal Torso still plays this Wii U.
Wii U's a very good console. The fact that you have most of its titles coming out on the Switch speaks volumes for that console.
Yeah. Go. You should have seen Go Game Go tonight, man. With their, I cannot believe that all the Sega. I gave up after all the Sega consoles got knocked out of the system of the brackets.
They did not put the RCA Studio 2 in there, so I think the whole thing was rigged.
I cannot,
and no APF. I mean, one of the first consoles that like became a computer with an add-on, and it's only like a $6,000
was the 3DO included? Was the 3DO included?
It was. I don't remember.
Yeah, that wasn't a fair. I don't think that's fair then.
The TurboGrafx was.
Well, of course, because it's the best in the world.
But the fact that,
but it didn't end up in the Final Four, sir.
The Sega Saturn was beating the NES, and as soon as the NES like lunged into the lead by like 1 vote, they stopped voting.
Yeah,
they called it. That was
they made the right call.
Saturn, no 3DO.
The Saturn almost beat the NES. Should have beat the NES.
The Saturn almost beat the NES. Listen to what you said, sir.
No, yeah.
It should have. It should have, and you are all wrong.
The Saturn,
you know, all those
a 32-bit system almost beat an 8-bit system.
With all of
ran
those
on the same chip as what the Intellivision? Didn't the Intellivision use that same chip? It's the MOS 6802 or something like that. Yeah. So it was a 5 to 7 year old chip when they used it, and it still beat a 32-bit system.
Well, it was a modified chip. I mean, I think the chip was from like 76 or 77, but
modified.
Yeah, it was modified.
I had a PPU. Come on.
It took
a that same chip.
This is what we got to see. Is we're doing serials in January now. That's when I'll be really. I want to bring and it's for any cereals. He said so. It's like for old ones, new ones. I was like really loved Cracker Jack cereal back in the day, where your milk.
You were talking about that the other day. That sounds weird.
I would not get that.
Super weird.
Delicious.
I'm Team Quisp. Sorry.
And number 2.
Maybe Kaboom was a good cereal.
We addressed this like many shows ago. Emails refunds are being processed. So I don't know where you're getting that. That was a long time ago.
Okay. Their support team is no longer with them, so it's being handled.
Yeah, it's being handled by individual being handled by individuals there that are doing like the jobs of like 7 other people, man. It's
grape
slow,
nuts.
Dude.
Oh yeah, I just had some grape nuts. I just had some grape nuts.
Grape nuts are still around. That's not like a common cereal. That's still a current thing.
It's not a cereal. Grape shot? No.
Well,
it's not a cereal.
Grape nuts, not grape shot.
Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Because I don't have to blow on my Saturn CDs.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, all right, get CD-ROD or whatever it's called, right?
What time that man out? How dare you, sir?
All right, let's count the number of franchises launched on the Saturn versus the NES. I'll go take a nap and come back.
Mr. T.
Rap with the mic
drop.
Nights into dreams. Good night.
Mr. T cereal. I pity the fool that eats his
cereal.
That's it. Yeah, I remember that. It was like that bright yellow honeycomb. Right. That's a good one.
Honeycomb's actually a solid cereal. I enjoyed some honeycomb. Yeah.
Red Dog Games did ask us a question, Chuck. Way back.
Yes. Let me go back here. Sorry, it's jumping because it's like.
Yep.
I'm housebroken from letting my milk corrupt my cereal for that long. I can't wait for that. It just feels wrong. After 5 minutes, I'm like,
oh my god!
It feels like a.
I don't see the question.
He said, "Can we show our test Amigos?"
Oh, mine's upstairs. I have my controller.
Somebody wanted to show the consoles, but there you go.
There you go.
I got the box right here.
I unplugged it because I got it. It's but
I got the box. It's real, guys and gals.
Yep,
it's real.
We both have.
I have it upstairs in my 75-inch though, so I've been playing it up there. Yeah. And if I'm doing a video or something, I have a controller that I hold here. So.
Yep. We both have unboxing videos on our channels.
Nick, you gonna show your Amico too?
It's right here.
No way! It is TV. It is TV fun. The Amico. That must be like a vintage style TV box, like a throwback.
More exciting games.
Bring that a little closer to the camera. Hold on. 4 exciting games. The
in color.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that, Justy. I'll have to check it out, man. Totally not giving false
black
information.
and white,
Doing
too.
accurate information. Wow, that's 2 TV funds.
I have all the TV funds.
Oh.
But anyways, there we go. Now I've caught up to the bottom here.
There we go.
The unsweetened cereal my mom got very sweet.
I just like Cheerios, man. Base Cheerios, I'd always put at least a spoonful or more sugar in it, just to add some form of sweetness.
You know, it's funny you say that, Mike, because when I had my Halloween party, and I literally did lock it away in a closet in my safe in my room and lock the door because I was just like, I know no one even cares. Like, no one that comes over to my house has no clue what this is or what, they're not video game people or anything like that. But it's
With
just
friends like these. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You just always,
right.
Dude, Donkey Kong cereal. I
remember Donkey
that.
Kong cereal.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that cereal.
Did the Donkey Kong come half and half with the Mario Brothers, or was that Zelda and?
I think Zelda and Mario Brothers was a half and half cereal, unless they did Donkey Kong as well. But I think Donkey Kong came
Was its own black box.
I think that was like arcade themed cereal instead of an NES stuff. Well, you can always see now, John. I've been doing almond milk or oat milk on. I don't even do regular milk anymore.
I can't do almond milk, man. I tried like an almond
milk. Not bad. Get the vanilla stuff.
Yeah,
it tastes like milk.
Taste.
See, I tried an almond milk creamer, and it just tasted like almonds in my coffee. And I'm like,
now
I'm just tasting the almond. I'm not getting anything else out of it. It's not for me.
Oat milk as a coffee creamer is delicious.
Does that work? Okay, I may try that because that could be fine. I was looking for like a lower calorie creamer because I just use like half and half, right? Like a flavored half and half.
So,
and I wanted to try almond milk because everybody said, "Oh, well, that's the most like milk," but I didn't get anything other than like almond out of it, and I was kind of disappointed.
Are you just looking for low calorie?
Well, I mean, I'm looking for a decent flavor out of it too.
Right, so seriously, so Coffee Mate makes a line of zero sugar creamers, and there's 2 that I go to.
I've not had a whole lot of luck with Coffee Mate, but I may try it.
Try there's Italian sweet cream and there's hazelnut, and both of those are really good.
Okay, I've had their normal
just
sweet
be like
cream.
Kurt Bradshaw pouring the sugar into mine.
I preferred their French vanilla.
Their French vanilla is good, and if you don't like Coffee Mate, International makes a 0 calorie as well, or a 0 sugar.
I've been using one from a local dairy, so that kind of like stomps everything else I've tried, but it's half and half, so
I put beer in my cereal.
I love that.
Actually, I think that was a thing in the 80s and 90s. I remember seeing Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
weird.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Did you see Did you see the new Christmas Story Christmas, the sequel? I don't know if anyone cares about that or seen. They had brought back the original cast, but it takes place in the 70s, and they did something that I remember growing up, and like I can't remember if it was my sister or my mom.
Which show is this? I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
A movie, the Christmas Story, a sequel with all
Christmas
the
Story.
Oh, is that the new one on HBO Max?
Yes.
Movie.
So I haven't seen that yet.
It takes place in the 70s, and he goes into the fridge, and the kids are sitting there with their cereal, and they're like, "We're all out of milk. We don't have any milk." He's like, put some orange juice on it. And then I remember
that
being told that.
Awful, actually.
It's so tart, but it's really not bad. Depending on the cereal, it's not bad.
I can't.
And he's like, that's good. And they're like,
dude, sounds abhorrent.
When you have a bunch of, you already poured all your cereal, what are you going to do? Put water on it? I'd rather take the orange juice.
No, I just go dry.
Yeah, I would just eat the cereal.
I would,
I remember when kids were talking about like putting orange juice or like
or you had to put like water.
I think I'd only have to do it after I brush my teeth.
Well, they did the little plastic barrels, like the grape drink and the orange drink, whatever those little squeezy barrels were.
Oh, yes.
See, early in the morning, sometimes I can't even drink orange juice. Sometimes it's just too acidic, and I can't drink it, which is weird because I can drink coffee early in the morning. But orange juice is hit or miss. Sometimes it tastes fine. Sometimes it just tastes really bitter because of the acidity of orange juice. And other times it tastes like normal orange juice. But like later in the day, if I have a glass of orange juice, it's fine. I never have a problem later in the day. But early in the morning, sometimes it's sketchy.
Yeah. There was a cereal back
Your
in...
tummy's getting old.
My taste buds are getting all. Actually, even in my 20s, orange juice was a little sketchy in the mornings. Like sometimes my taste buds just couldn't handle it.
Nick was born
more
old.
I was more of a grapefruit juice guy.
Shut up, Rab.
Oh, I love grapefruit juice. It's a little more, has a little more bite and bitterness to it, but I love it. There was a cereal in either the late 80s or early 90s called OJ's, and it was it was orange juice flavored cereal. And they recommended to get the full experience, you would pour orange juice in the OJ's, and it was like an orange extravaganza. It was all right. That's what I remembered the taste. It was the sugary orange flavor with the orange juice. So it wasn't as bad, but if you took like Frosted Flakes and put like orange, I don't know how.
Oh no, God no! Oh,
imagine soggy orange juice flakes.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Or you could take the orange juice concentrate out of the freezer and just like shave off like an Italian ice and just like, oh, this is good. That works.
I've never used the concentrate in my house. I never use that.
One inch says he goes and melts full outside.
Nick was born old and also rich with a silver spoon that he couldn't be bothered to eat his orange OJs.
My parents just never bought that.
Hey, speaking of being rich and born with a silver spoon, if you have only $1.99, I've got to show you. I have a little promo here. I think they're ready. We're going to go live to Art Bigfall and his special guest on his new show on Patreon. So if you haven't went to DJC Game Studios Patreon, you're going to see this exclusive show as well as others. So we're going to turn it over to Art Bigfall. Here we go.
Well, hello everyone out there in the YouTube lands. Well, I got a new fantastic show, and it's debuting episode 1 on Patreon. You got to go over to the Patreon. Unfortunately, it's the DJC Game Studios Patreon. Can't stand that guy. But I tell you what, my first guest I'm interviewing is this guy here, the Panda Sub 2000, the Phoenix McFurry, like a McFlurry. Remember those at McDonald's, the McFlurry? You go through the Milky Way sometimes too, and that's in space. Isn't that funny? That's named after a candy bar. You ever pass Mars?
Who are you?
Excuse me. Excuse you.
I don't know who you are.
Oh, Art Bigfall. We're doing an interview. We're doing the promo for it right now. We're live on the YouTubes.
Right now.
Yeah, DJC's doing his silly Amico video game bleepity bloop bloop podcast and live stream or whatever they call it, and I'm doing a promo because me and you are doing an interview on my show.
I'm doing an interview.
Yeah, we're going to be on the Patreons.
Art.
So you go to Patreon. Unfortunately, like I said, it's the DJC Game Studio Patreon, and you get to see the very first episode of the Art Bigfall Show and Phoenix McFlurry.
Close. Do I see any payment for this?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Hey, good guy there. Check us out on Patreon. It's going to be a fun time.
I don't know what to say there. If you're feeling...
Phoenix is a 70s porn star trapped in another dimension.
If you want to see that video, that full 30-minute interview in its entirety, the pilot episode of the Art Bigfall Show debuting on Patreon, check it out under DJC Game Studios Patreon. Buy my Patreon. Thank you so much. John Alvarado.
I told you, Chuck, they need to see more skin.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's on the OnlyFans. That's starting up soon too.
Oh yeah.
Whose brother got left with the penguin?
Are we doing a Panda Sub / Art Bigfall crossover with this OnlyFans? Is that what this is?
Oh, what?
I don't know what we're doing.
What?
I'm just rolling with it, guys. I mean, I have all the alcohol, so I'm fine right now. It's totally fine.
Yes, I see that.
Baby Ruth.
I need to go get some alcohol.
Yeah, remember?
I've already been through some sort of weird beer concoction that I got the idea from watching How to Drink. Great channel if you like mixed cocktails. I do not get paid. Call me. And some whiskey. So, good times are had. I'm not on call, and I'm on vacation.
I'm opening up the Dos Equas. Dos Equas beer. Delicious. Should try it.
I have never done Dos Equis. I don't think I've really done Mexican beers. I've done German, I've done American, and I've done Japanese. I've not done Mexican.
Now, I heard that these are waterproof if you put them in a glass of beer. John, I can do this, right?
I think this is a bad plan, sir.
No? Oh, okay.
I say this is a bad plan.
I would say that, yes. He wears a turkey hat.
I think there was some heart palpitations and flip-flops right there. What happened?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Thank God Man Machine wasn't there to see that garbage interview. Well, we do talk about some Man Machine stuff in that interview.
I don't always participate in his stream, but when I do,
Patreon.
I am hammered. Stay thirsty, my friends.
That sounds like gossip and drama, and I just spent like 5 minutes talking about how that's not the focus of the channel. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, the 50th.
The focus of the Patreon.
Oh, the focus of the Patreon. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did not. Oh, that wasn't for me. Never mind.
That's the Apple.
I have not picked up the 50th. I am 50th free so far. I thought I was going to buy it today.
Did you take a test? I am not.
I took a test. I've not
Look
picked
at all the
that
stuff
up
it
yet.
comes with.
My main reason for picking that up would be the interviews, not the games, because I don't have any nostalgia for Atari. We talked about this last week when I kept trying to bring the topic back to the 50th, so we wouldn't talk about the 50th again, because we were going to cover the 50th last week, and I blame you. It's your fault, sir.
Are we talking about the 50th?
Yeah,
All right,
I guess
we're
so.
on to the 50th.
I wasn't even here.
No, I'm blaming Chuck.
Oh, I know.
What was I talking
Okay,
about?
then how did you get involved in this conversation, sir?
I don't know.
Sir!
Hey, look, you wait. Look, you. Wait, I gotta think. I'm gonna practice.
Silence!
Hey, listen, you. Don't make me look. I will take this stick and I will.
Whatever. That's not the worst thing that's been done to me on this stream.
Grazed me a bit there. Dude, Metal Torso says Nick has offended me. One, that he doesn't like Smash Brothers. Not everyone likes Smash Brothers. And two, seriously, and only fans with Art and Panda.
Hey, not everyone likes Smash Brothers. Some people don't like fighting games at all, and some people don't like brawlers being confused with fighting games. Smash Brothers is a 4-person brawler game that is not a fighting game. End of story.
PJ, it's on everything, though. It's actually on everything.
It's a fun game. I like Ultimate. I started getting into Smash in the Wii U version. I didn't play the GameCube version very much because I played the 64 version and had a terrible experience and didn't touch that game for like 10 years because it was such a bad first experience.
Yeah, the VCS version isn't out yet, is it?
No, it is not.
Of all the things, they had one job.
Yeah, that's supposed to hit the VCS.
Had one job is to make sure
my reasoning behind not bringing it to the VCS
Atari.
yet.
That's Digital Eclipse working on that.
It's
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh well,
I gotta, and I got, and
VCS.
he has not said when it's coming.
But if you're going to prioritize, I would have done the same thing.
Sorry.
I mean, the VCS has the smallest install base.
That's what I'm saying.
The
The
fewest
VCS
number of
has the
people are going to see
smallest
it.
market, and if you want to do it properly, you want to use that classic controller, which not only has the same Atari feel,
there's
but it
more
also
work
has
involved.
the spinner. So you want to take your time and you want to make sure that works right. And since it's such a small market and it's going to take extra work, you do it last. That just
What I don't
it makes
understand
sense.
is what I don't understand though is they got that working really well in the Atari Vault games. So I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know.
Look, you know people with Digital Eclipse. Go talk to him.
I tried.
You got connections. Go talk to him.
I believe that he.
I
is
blame you,
purposely
sir.
not-
It's your
I
fault.
look at.
I
look
think
at
it's
me.
just prioritization.
It's your
It's
fault.
the right move if that's the case.
I wasn't even here.
It's your fault.
sweet and tender. I'm toy like a toiger. Roar.
The problem is that they haven't said when it's coming to the VCS, and some of us are really waiting for it on the VCS. I don't have a.
After 5,000 of you that managed to get a hold of a VCS for under like $400. It's back up to $400, sir. I just
$5,000
for
more
me,
sales
I
than
can't
have
spend it on the VC. I can't spend $400 on the VCS. $250 is like my limit.
It's not how small the market is; it's how you work the controller stick. Very nice.
Go George.
With the win.
That stick is thick.
Oh,
The problem is though.
I'm sorry.
Once
I don't
you
even
play,
know how
once you play like Gravitar Recharged and Breakout Recharged and it's the other one that uses this and Yar's Revenge Recharged. Once you play those with that classic controller, like if I wouldn't buy them on another console.
And see, I kind of want a VCS for that reason. I just don't want to pay $400, man.
No, it's not worth $400.
Yeah,
it's not.
To me,
it's not.
I totally respect people that think it's worth $400. I'm willing to spend like $350 on an Amico. I'm not gonna like price shame anybody for spending $400 on a VCS. It's just not worth $400 to me.
If you want anything enough, if I was like which I love Atari, but if I was a super diehard Atari fan, I'm going to buy it no matter what it is. Like just like most Atari fans do.
See, it's not.
The same with Amico.
So it's not worth it to me because I'm not a huge Atari fan. So
well, but you can get every one of the Atari games on the Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. That's the difference.
And that's why I held off, is because there wasn't enough exclusive content for me to put that money towards.
But what I will say is getting it when I did and getting the $99 version, I can't see myself playing any of the Atari Recharge games on any of the other systems because that classic controller is good.
Well, you can use it on
yes, you can.
Yeah,
I don't know if the spinner works on the PC.
See, that's
or not,
my
but
concern. Like, does this?
So you're saying the joystick?
Mike wants to be alone in the room with the VCS and the classic controller. And
I agree. Warlords Recharge would be amazing.
50th celebration.
Yes. And
there was one on this pub table I had. They had a newer graphics version of it, which actually looked really cool.
Yeah, and it's in the Atari Volt, which is on the VCS, both the 2600 version and the arcade version, and both of them use the classic controller.
I like this.
Somebody's telling me the Atari Classic controller does work on PC.
It does. I don't know if the spinner works.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I would assume since it's a USB controller,
I really like
it would at least work as a generic like 2-3 button
It absolutely
controller.
does. It absolutely does.
So I literally like so far like
on the interface.
I see the classics, but I love the Haunted House Recharge. Once I go through that, then I'm going to go to the other two reimagined games. But what sold me was the history, the videos, the collection somewhat, but it was the new reimagined Haunted House. So
you know what would be really fun for those? Because I mean, this is really nice that they put it together with the documentary style. I think that's fantastic for the 50th anniversary. But it would be nice if they had some of these older Atari games or Intellivision games or something as something like the NES Remix did, where it was just like, 20 seconds of this game, 30 seconds of another game.
Switch. I think they ported that. I love the concept of those. I just never bought them. Those are great ideas. And doing that for Atari sounds fantastic, for the record.
Because some of these games just they do seem dated to a modern audience, but to be able to give them a rationale to do this in this game and do this in this game and do this in this game to kind of continue and just force them into small tastes, I think would be a good, kind of avenue for Atari to take with some of these that may not get a lot of play otherwise. And once they've done the celebration, they could do that in a few years.
Mike says, do you think the 50th will save VCS if it comes out? So I don't even know the plans of VCS right now, but I think if they started from the beginning, had exclusives like the Haunted House and similar things, reimagined blocky games, but in a like modern 3D kind of way, the way Haunted Houses is, to me, that's what I thought the VCS was going to be. I didn't think it was just going to be an emulation or computer box. If it was that, I would have been a little more interested. Once again, if it was, something more I was into, then yeah, I would probably get it. But yeah, I don't know if it'll save it, because I heard that and correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys in the panel here will know more than I do about the VCS, but weren't they going to kind of go away from hardware and just go back to doing software again?
They were, and I haven't listened to the recent conversations. I'm not paying too much attention in like the Discord, but We have to remember that Atari did go through a big sweeping change of their ownership and leadership and everything over there over the past year and a half. So yes, I think the original assumption was they were done with it. They were walking away from it. They weren't doing anything else with it. It sounds like they are maybe considering they're definitely not giving up on it. They're not talking about just discontinuing like they were. If they're doing more with it, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I'm not as tied into that community and what they're doing. I want to see them continue to support this platform and do some of those, exclusives and timed exclusives and stuff. Give it a reason for people to go out and get it. Because
honestly, the biggest problem with the Atari VCS has honestly been kind of the Atari mentality. They're underinvesting on it and expecting a huge return. They've chronologically done this. And you guys can hate on me all you want to, but I've done the fucking homework on this. They underinvested on the 5200 and brought it out too late, and it undersold, and it had a lot of problems. They brought out the 7200 too late because they were focused on PCs. Well, and then finally switched back to a console, and they didn't upgrade the PC to what was current at the time. They basically underinvested on it then. The Jaguar was a Hail Mary to try to save the company. They fucking invested on that and didn't push it hard enough, and it kind of fell on its face.
Well, they underinvested, yes, but they also didn't quite know what they were doing. I mean, that was Warner Communications, and that was also Atari not knowing if it's a computer company, which everybody in tech at the time in the late 80s or late 70s and early 80s would have said the future is computers. You get out of video games because computers are going to do everything you're doing better.
They switched everything to computers,
but that's not what
late 70s, early 80s.
But that's not what Warner wanted to do. That's not why they got into computers, or that's not why they bought Atari. I mean, they saw the brilliant idea that this programmable system that the Atari 2600 ended up being. That was, Manny drawing a blank. Like one of their heads.
Manny Pacquiao.
No. Anyways, there was some people at Atari that saw that video games as a console were Atari's future, and there was a lot of people in Atari who thought computers were their future, and they didn't know which they wanted to be, and Warner Communications didn't know what they wanted to do. They just wanted to make money. So they kind of hedged their bets on both and ended up with neither. You had the 400 and the 800. They were okay, but they were getting eaten alive by, Commodore and Texas Instruments and all of those other computer companies that were coming out.
Which is funny because Trammell ran Commodore before he came over to Atari, or he picked up Atari and started focusing on computers, and he's getting his butt kicked by the computer brain he built up.
Well, because he
spent his time.
That happens a lot in this industry. You would be surprised as to how many of these executives.
Probably not, but yeah, I agree with you.
Bernie Stolar comes to mind.
Yes, he does. I was about to say, not as surprised as you think, sir.
No,
they've done enough homework on some videos that I know a few things about a few things that I'm not quite as surprised anymore.
Right. But the other, and George Costanza brought it up in the chat. We've always talked about, I know you and I have talked about it, Nick, the weird decision to throw the Atari 2600 sound chip into the 7800, which made those games sound horrible.
Yeah. Because
especially since graphically, and I've seen videos of comparisons, the 7800 kind of stood up a little bit to the NES.
Yes, it did.
But here's the problem. The sound
chip
it
was 84.
Sucks.
Yep.
The sound chip sucked, and the company that built the 7800 was not prepared to make a sound chip. Atari should have, but they had no money and they had no interest.
Didn't they reuse the one from the 5200 that just did basic sounds?
No, they reused the one from the 2600 to do
That's even worse.
To do backward compatibility with 2600 games.
Yeah, because the 5200 only sold 12.
And it also didn't have any backwards compatibility. It was only system that gen that didn't have a way of playing Atari 2600 games. That was silly.
It did come up with something, but yeah, it was.
No, it didn't. As far as I know, the ColecoVision did, and Television did.
Well, they were advertising
on
an
the
adapter
5200 never did.
No, you could not. No.
The last update was about a month ago?
Yeah.
Television backers.
I don't really track a lot of that. I mean, are you talking about the Intellivision, like the main email list? Or are you talking
I'm
about,
guessing
like,
the email, yeah.
I don't know which one he's talking about. Is he talking about Republico, or is he talking about the main Intellivision email?
Well, the backers and investors would be different than the Republic, because I got money in a Republic, but that's a profit sharing.
If you made a pre-order, you're a backer.
That's totally different. Like,
then I'm a backer
or an investor. Let's
I would say
clarify.
the email. I'd say like a month and a couple weeks or something like that, a little over a month.
Okay,
probably.
let's clarify one thing. If you pre-order, you're not an investor. You're not a backer. You have a pre-order. That's it. You're not. I'm in
a profit sharing.
That's not how
I'm in a profit sharing through Republic.
That's not how that works.
I own an Xbox and a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. I don't own part of Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird, man?
Now, Republico, that's profit sharing. They should send emails out to that separately from the main Intellivision email.
Yeah,
I don't know how those go out because I'm not invested in that.
Yes, DJ. Oh, Star Raiders would be amazing.
Now I'm trying to find out where my Star Raiders is. Well, I mean, I'll do it on emulation anyways.
Oh, that made a heck of a computer port, Star Raiders. See, I was the Atari computer guy back then. I had an 800, and then I had a 1200 XL. I had the 300 baud.
Oh, 5200.
I had a floppy drive with the happy modification, and those who are known in Atari know what the happy mod is for the floppy. I had a cassette drive. I was a big Atari guy back then.
Yeah, I know a few of you guys are huge Atari fans. I got into gaming with the ColecoVision, and honestly, I want to say like a year or less than a year, we had an NES. So I never got even full nostalgia for the ColecoVision. There's some games I remember fondly from it, but it's not a huge nostalgia thing for me, right? That era of gaming. So most of my nostalgia starts with the NES, quite frankly. So I don't really go back quite as far as you guys do as far as the nostalgia.
Yeah, just following what you grew up on. But see, I was huge on NES too. Like, to me, that was like the last thing I was super excited for. I mean, really, you can count like the Xbox and the PlayStation 1 and 2 and 360 and all that stuff. But the last stuff is like a kid being excited for was like the 16-bit era. But everything from Atari and television, NES, Super NES, N64, all the way up to that, all the 16 bits and the 60. And I think that was like the most fun time in gaming because it was just like, games were just so cool back then.
Well, and
it was also very much
they started becoming more of a
cohort.
But once they started becoming more of like so realistic, they looked like real life kind of thing. It started changing the way games. It's not saying they weren't still fun, but and they still are to this day. Like Red Dead.
I still have a lot of fun with modern gaming, but you have a point there, and I think part of it goes back to
pick up and play fun little. Let's try around to this,
Right, 89 through like I want to say like 99, 2000 was kind of like the Wild West, right? Sony came in and started killing everybody around like 95, but even around that time, you still had stuff like you had so many consoles out with so many new ideas, and the industry was still trying to figure itself out. So it was spending a lot of time investing in random new IPs because they didn't know what was going to stick. The industry hadn't really matured, so you had a lot of crazy ideas.
It was
just
not
thrown
formulaic yet. Yeah.
Right.
Or
And
now it's like,
once you started hitting like, I want to say like mid 2000s, we
up?
started things where we started doing more serialized games, right?
I would
Like a lot
say
of your
even with the
modern-
start of the PS2 era, I think it was getting to be more serialized.
Right, because you got like Final Fantasy was always kind of trucking along. That became like a big thing in the PS1 and PS2 era. That was more of a serial game, and then you started having like Modern Warfare, Assassin's Creed, and all these titles. And realistically, a lot of this, and I'm gonna say it, kind of started with Genesis because they started doing seasonal sports games. So people started realizing seasonal games worked. So I kind of blame Genesis for kind of kicking off that trend in like the mid 90s. and it really kind of spread out from there into other genres a little bit.
I don't know about that because, and the reason I say that is because there were games like RBI Baseball that were way on NES before the Genesis even came out, and those became
Genesis was
that
really
started
big
like
on pushing
88,
them as yearly
89.
installations, though.
Or
Like
well,
89,
that started
88,
89,
90,
90.
93.
It started
Yeah.
with Madden, and really it started with
That's
Madden.
EA. Yeah.
with Madden. So,
but I kind of blame that more the rise of the sports game, the serial sports game, for which it stayed there for a long time, but then it started kind of expanding out as they realized people really like these almost yearly or bi-yearly installments. That's why Assassin's Creed is such a big thing. That's why like Call of Duty is such a big thing. Battlefield's such a big thing. People love these with the new maps and like you grind levels up, and sports games are still at the forefront of that as far as making money because now they have like all the card packs and online play and all that stuff where they're really just hammering home the monetization part of that, which hasn't gotten quite as bad with the first person shooters and Assassin's Creeds and stuff like that. They've kept a lot of that out so far to their credit, which is good. I feel like they don't necessarily need those as much.
Yeah,
But
I'm just trying to think if there were any, because I think Genesis would be the most likely culprit, Genesis, Mega Drive for consoles. I'm just wondering if there was any computer trend with because home computer games were aimed towards older adults at the time, so we'd be able to kind of buy and build up on that.
I don't remember a lot of them, but a lot of the computer scene that day, I either wasn't in it because I didn't get in heavily until like 95, 96. With a Packard Bell computer, like a 75 megahertz processor that I got to go to college with. That's when I really started getting heavily into computer gaming. But Europe is another whole market that we don't touch on that was massive into computers for most of that lifespan that we totally missed. More so than America, which was big for a while, and then it kind of tapered off.
But it was an adult market.
It was. It absolutely was.
Bedroom coder and education market in the UK, and more casual in elsewhere, Germany and France and stuff. Yeah, I'm just like I know like Wizardry was an annual release. Like role-playing games were very much annualized where they could be if they were popular. Adventure games were very much annualized, for the computer. So I could see where, EA would take that concept with the sports franchises and stuff, but that really wasn't applied until you get to the Genesis. So
right.
I think it was
Genesis
some of those
is
computer
where they really started trying to change the age demographic and focus on things like sports and things like
teens
that.
And 20-somethings, yeah.
Right. They wanted to change the rosters each year for like different teams and things like that, change stats, all that
and
kind
that's
of stuff.
something you did with computer games. So it's like that computer game model being applied to the console space.
Exactly.
Well, and EA Sports was doing this on PC as well, because I was a PC gamer before I got back into consoles. So once I started with the Atari 800, I rode PC gaming through like Tandy 1000 EX, then put together my own PCs and started playing Doom and stuff, and I didn't get back into console gaming until the Genesis. EA was putting out multiple, Bulls versus Lakers versus Celtics. There was Dr. J versus Larry Bird, Jordan versus Bird. They were trying to pump as much of those. They just weren't calling it, 99-00-01. They were just calling it different games, but it was the same thing every year.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody messaged me and said they saw on Twitter and even linked me to it. Digital Clip said the classic Atari controller does work with the Atari 50th, even the spinner, on PC. So
there you go.
You have that controller.
Very cool.
It should have the full functionality.
That makes no sense why the VCS version.
I don't know why the VCS version isn't out now. I got no answer.
No sense.
I got no answer now. That was my last holdout as far as an answer, and now that's gone. I got nothing. And
because it's a different OS, right?
It is, but it's the same hardware. I mean, it's a Ryzen processor with off-the-shelf RAM. I mean, it's a mini PC.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a low-spec PC that's running a particular OS for Atari. That's it. That's
I mean,
all it
literally
is.
what I could do at this point is on my Windows 10 image that I'm running.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can
SML
fly
even said
Windows on
it's
that.
Linux. I mean, it's basically a Linux distro they've customized. That's it.
Yeah, so I don't understand. And all respect to my brother Mike, I just don't understand what the holdup is.
I'm not defending it. There's plenty of things I'm not defending tonight because I don't have answers.
And why? Yeah. And while it's Digital Eclipse, and I get that, and I know that Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and all those are bigger platforms, it is sort of Atari can't be happy that a 50th collection is not launching on their flagship.
I would be super annoyed.
Digital Eclipse was footing the bill for this, so they could wait a little bit longer. At least it gets it. If they wanted to be happier, they could pay for it.
At this point, the only reason it's not translated over is because the VCS market is so small, but it doesn't really matter as much. They want to bring it over, but it doesn't matter as much as other markets because they're going to sell more.
Yeah, it's just
it's coming.
One day.
We say that a lot. I need more alcohol. I'm getting sober.
Well, I think we're gonna end it. We're a little over an hour and a half, anyways. But
this was good. This was
fun. This was fun.
Thanks, of course, always for letting me jump in. Have fun.
And everyone in chat.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, everyone in chat. Yeah. The mods are a little strict this evening, so if people, just because it's been getting crazy. I meant to do a video on this, so I'll kind of say
we were having some major problems last week, guys. So we've got a little more.
It was basically people
that
keep on, or attacking people in chat, or being mean, or to each other. I just want everyone to be nice to each other, whether you like it or not, or just want to hear for the fun. Also, the questions that we can't answer that are just constant. You'll most likely get timed out. If it continues, then you will get blocked off from the chat. But I do have a lot of mods watching tonight, so this was kind of the first night that it was a little more strict, and that's all, man. That's all. And it's 100%. I 100% understand if people are critical or have pre-ordered, or
we get the frustration. We really do. But there's very limited amount that we can do to help you guys with that problem.
Right.
Yeah. We're here as a fan cast.
I don't have any more insight to the company's finances, to how they're handling emails, to how they're handling any of that. I get little bits and pieces of data occasionally, but none of it's substantial enough to really bring to you guys in any meaningful way, which is why we don't bring it up here. If we had information, we would give it to you. If it's information we can disseminate, we would give it to you. We'd be more than happy. I would love to give you guys all sorts of information if I had it. I don't, though. That's a problem.
And remember when you come here, and I want you guys to always, whether you're critical or you're not, or you're a supporter. I mean, you know us by now. We've been doing this for over a year. What, about a year now? Been over a year. It's been something like 58 episodes. We go directly to the
quarter.
Yeah, we do right to the source of the company. Like I said, there's a lot of info out there. A lot of people making videos. I mean, obviously, we talked about one today, just a larger YouTuber. That's all. And I really go right back to the facts from the source, from the company, and that's what whether that's up to you. Whether you say, "Well, I don't believe," well, then that's fine. But I get it directly from the company, and until the company says, something that I don't agree with, I 100% back in television. I know the thing is real. We obviously know it's real. It's going to come out. But yeah, just remember when we discuss, and I know we come up with scenarios of what we would like or what we'd like to see, but I think we have a really good in with this company, and they trust us. And I think when we tell you the news, I hope you take it as real news and not made up for the most part. So just feel that you can come here, and we, if we have any news to give you, that we're telling you direct from company. And so it's a little more trusted here, and we are fans. Once again, we are fans that back a company and a product that we believe in. That's all this is a fan cast. So sometimes we can't answer company direct questions that, like, well, why is this not happening? I don't know. We could talk about how I like Astro Smash, like that's kind of what it is,
And our favorite cereal and why the Atari VCS is not getting the VCS 50. I mean, those are the
turkey sandwiches that S Mill gave $20 super chat, Silly Club member.
Oh, turkey sandwiches.
Turkey sandwiches on me. And by the way, just before I let the rest of the panel, because I know they want to say some stuff, I want to thank everyone for doing this and everything. I am, and I had said this in the past, I am going to try to get some merch printed up from some of these super chats, and I'm going to start doing some giveaways. So hopefully we'll have some actual available somewhere. It'll be available, but we're going to do some giveaways on some of these future shows coming up soon. So let me do my best as I can to print up some. I almost got to think of some sizes too, because I don't know what everybody's sizes are, because I want to pre-print some of this. So I think the most common is XL, but I might do XL, 2XL, 3XL, because I wear a 2XL. I know that. But anyways,
a lot of times I still wear an XL, man.
I don't think anyone in the chat's wearing a small. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hey,
the one guy.
So don't feel bad, Rab, if this keeps up,
guys.
I'll be
But anyways, but thank you so much for. I will get
to show off this.
Nobody wants to see that, sir.
Wow. Nick is just mean today.
I had a few drinks. I'm allowed to be mean.
I have you.
Just ban Swami now.
Dude.
Just no one needs to see that. Just
Dude, I came
S Mill makes no comments.
Frankly, I thought tonight was going to be much, much uglier. I was very glad we went to subscribers only, because I was expecting a straight up brawl tonight. Yeah.
Well, the night is still young, sir. The night is still young, sir.
Hey. I've had more alcohol than you have in a month, and I'm still not slurring very bad.
This is true. Well, you don't think you're slurring. I'm just saying.
Well,
Thanks, Gabe.
This isn't as bad as it could be. I've been worse.
Oh. This is something I would like to see.
Probably not.
Oh, yes, I would. Oh, yes, I would.
Well, you guys can banter me after. I'm just going to say thank you, chat, for coming in and spending some time with us. I know Chuck is going to say, you can believe us. I believe anyone you want to. I think, the company definitely owes this fan base some answers and some things.
They owe them a
console. Some questions. They owe
them
a console.
They owe them a console.
They owe them a console.
And from my talking with them, they have a board they have to go through. They have investors. They have steps that they have to take to get on certain things before they can give actual information. They don't want to be in the situation of putting out information that they can't 100% stand behind and be screwed because
I totally
something doesn't
that.
come to fruition.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit in a hard place, which doesn't really forgive them from doesn't get them off the hook from not talking to us at all. I think they do need to come out and talk to us about some of that stuff, and I know they want to. So hopefully we will be hearing soon on some of those things that you guys really are looking forward to.
I mean, look, I would rather have no information than bad information at this point.
Yes, and
that's my preference.
That is my preference too. It's still frustrating.
But and the only other thing is that it's the speculation, right? And and television can always put out information to speculation, but when people are speculating, it doesn't help when you don't know. And I mean, it's hard. I get it. It's hard because you want, I could tell you from my conversations with there's nobody wants to put this out more than the television. I mean, they've worked on this thing for 3 years now. What?
They definitely want the console out.
Nobody wants this out more than they. I would venture a guess that nobody wants to put this thing out more than John Alvarado right now.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
everyone, but and no, they can't go more years. I agree with that. No, they cannot go any more years. This is it, man. This is it, sweet.
It looks ugly at this point, and I think, like, you know, a lot of people might come up and say, like, okay, this is a scam. Look at it, everything is about is a scam. And my like retort to that would be, what would a company look like that has struggled to? Obviously, what they're trying to do is super ambitious, and I think it's more ambitious than some of these other consoles, smaller consoles that have come out. It's not more ambitious than Xbox, it's not more ambitious than Nintendo or Sony, but I think it is more ambitious, the scope of what they're trying to do, than maybe Evercade or VCS, Atari was trying to do, or Polymega was trying to do with developing and the games and the interface and trying to get all these things to kind of come together in the environment that the last couple of years have been. So they took some hits, and they've taken some hits for some other things, and obviously the public relations as of right now are in the dumps, to put it
that's putting
on,
it kindly,
on a high,
yes.
Put it kindly, yes. I'm trying to remember what my point of going through this was.
Sorry, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. They are trying, and I think if you were to give them a good faith look, and you don't have to give them a good faith look, but if you were to give them, or if you were to put yourself in a good faith position of trying to see something of this scope come through and the difficulties that they claim to have, I think then some of this makes a little sense. If you are looking at this from the point of they are just trying to scam and it is for the money, then you can look at it from a completely different perspective, and it looks like a very different story. So there's a chasm, I think, from what some of us are seeing and what other people are seeing.
I think if this was a scam or a dodge, we would have been done by now, because they're not generating any. They're not actively trying to generate any revenue. You don't have any Republic.
I would think those institutions would be involved that I had brought up.
You
earlier.
don't have any kind of way of giving them money right now, except for like the limited physical editions that they have that already gives you the product. So at that point, you have it. You don't have a console to play on it, but that transaction's done, right? But even the pre-orders, they're not taking any money on right now, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not pulling in any more revenue. So how long do you run a scam where you're not generating revenue?
Right.
Generally, you would just cut and run. At that point, you would take whatever money you had and you get the hell out. You wouldn't continue to try to operate it under some let's not generate money right now avenue from people. That doesn't really make a lot of logical sense to me. I get if you don't believe in it. I get that you don't believe it's going to come out. I understand that, and I totally see that. There are days where I go, I don't know if I'm going to ever get this damn console or not. I'm totally with you there. That's fine. My difference is I don't make videos on it. I just go, okay, I may not get this. I may lose this money. That's okay. Right. I'm okay with that. From my standpoint, I can accept that.
The thing about a scam is somebody has to be a benefactor of it, and there's nobody there that's benefiting from this. I mean, nobody's sitting on a right. And let's and you know, there's been all this speculation about Tommy having to sell all of his stuff and all this. And if all of that is true, how is he benefiting from this? So there's a difference. There's always a difference between a failed venture and an outright scam. And I lean on, you know, one of the reasons that I stuck this long is because I've seen other failed ventures. Some of them make it, some of them don't. And trust me, the Gizmondo was not a scam. It was just a failed venture. The Infinium Labs Phantom console, I covered that. I mean, you could go onto the Internet Archive, the archive.org. You can see where I have pictures. I've actually got pictures of the thing I took at E3. Was supposed to revolutionize. It was going to be, honestly, the first streaming style PC. Didn't make it. Nobody was scamming anybody. It just didn't make it.
I think that's the confusion the internet has. Like, there's a couple of terms that get thrown around that I think people are confused on. One is simp. Simp gets thrown around a lot. That gets misused a ton.
I am too old for these terms. I can't keep up
the
with all
simp
this
is
shit.
somebody that basically always backs
no,
somebody
I
regardless of
know,
what it is.
I know what it is.
And always puts them in the most positive light. I don't always put in
Happy
television on
Thanksgiving,
positive
Rob.
light. There's a lot of
You are
times I'm
rad.
pissed. I'm
Yes.
pissed, openly pissed at
Very
a
rad.
television. You guys don't see it because I don't bring it here because I try not to bring negativity here.
Yeah.
But these guys all know I have literally raged for like almost an hour at times about how they've disseminated
Every other phone
information
call.
in the past.
Every other phone call with Nick, he's yelling at me. I'm like, it's not me. I'm not
It's
disseminating
still-
information.
I wasn't even here.
All his fault. If
I
it's not his
wasn't
fault,
even
it's Mike's.
here.
If it's not his fault, it's Mike's fault.
I wasn't even here.
But anyways, we do need to end it because we are going at almost 2 hours. But Nick, you want
geez.
anything you want to plug for
I'm
your?
sorry,
I know you got some stuff you're working on.
I'm trying to get some videos together. I want to start getting some stuff moving on the Geekstorian channel. I haven't really streamed or anything because my new cat is really, really clingy. And I've had a lot of holiday stuff going on. So my apologies for the lack of involvement with the community so far on YouTube right now. I do want to start getting some stuff together. So hopefully I'll have some stuff at least next week. I'd like to get ahead more than that. But we're going to see how that goes. I'm hoping Friday and this weekend is going to be a little bit better for recording. Because the cat's still adjusting to being with us, and it may not be with us long term, but she's very, very pissed if I do not sit on the sofa. And I can't work on the sofa. Challenging, to say the least. I'm using the cat as an excuse. It's kind of like the dog gave me homework, but not a dog. So that's all I got.
Hey, brother Indy.
Indy Racing, he said possible to find a turkey here in Israel. Had to import one for the U.S.
Yeah, it's not exactly a native bird to the land of Israel. I can attest to that.
You mentioned 3 videos. Oh, they are.
No, I'm enjoying those, quite frankly. And I want to do some more on that. Maybe I can do that this weekend. But I do want to. I'm definitely finishing that game on stream for sure.
Mike, you got anything coming up that you need to?
So we are. I think we're going to do. We didn't get a chance to do an NLG show this week. I had a personal issue emergency that popped up. I had to go take care of, and it just happened at the last minute. So we didn't get a chance to do a show. So I think what we're going to do tomorrow is we're picking a game tomorrow night. It's just another night. I mean, it's Thanksgiving night, but we're going to stream something. We're going to do some gameplay stream, get some people in chat who might be on the Tryptophan. We'll give them something to fall asleep to. And then we'll see from there. Next week's NLG show will be our 301st episode. We're going to talk about the Video Game Awards and probably more of this lovely Activision Blizzard saga. You guys want to talk about drama? Forget the Amico. Follow the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Dude, if I hear Call of Duty one more time, I'm going to hurt people in the GOG. Nobody gave two flying F's about that game until it was like, oh no, Microsoft.
Well, because that's
now
also
it's like this big thing.
Well, no, because
nobody
it's all no. So you would think that, but it's Sony cares. Apparently, without Call of Duty, Nick, Sony can't survive as a company.
Oh, that's horse.
I'm just telling
respect
you.
for Chuck, I'm not going to say what
Thank
I was
you.
going to say.
You've been a potty mouth today, sir.
I'm just telling you.
It pulls at
when
those
I keep telling
inner
everybody
fanboy heartstrings. You become.
But no, because Sony literally has said that is what they are. That without Call of Duty, they are losing. They're going to lose all this crazy market share. And I keep telling people. I keep telling people the whole reason that Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard is for King.
Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely is for King. I don't disagree with you.
I've said
they want that mobile market. They want people.
Candy Crush.
Look, guys. I know this is totally off topic. Microsoft wants to be an ecosystem, not a console developer. That was their whole plan going into this generation. That's the whole point of their cloud architecture. That's the whole point of their server farms. They're going to flex that instead of just using it for like industry standards and for industry server storage and cloud services. They're going to flex it in the gaming industry. They don't care where you play. If they could put Game Pass on PlayStation 5, they would. If they could put Game Pass on the Switch, they would. They don't care what console you own. They want you in the ecosystem. That is it. And they want in the mobile section. They don't want to be a hardware manufacturer. It's not their strong point. They don't want to do it anymore. It costs too much money. End of story.
Well,
all right, you heard it from Nick. If Microsoft
we're going to
put
soak Nick in an ice
Game
cube bath after this to settle him down and just bring his
Game Pass on your
I need a few
child's
more drinks.
He is
More
turning,
alcohol.
He is turning
Fixes
red.
I'm always this way.
So I thank everyone for showing up in the chat. I thank for the super chats. Like I said, I want to do some merch giveaways going forward. Hopefully before the new year, maybe into the new year for the show. But yeah, because you guys deserve it. You guys are friggin' amazing. And also, I got
some. Talking about the chat.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the chat. Not you. You guys are awful. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you.
You're going to be on Team DJC. Yeah, no, I fully endorse. I'm looking forward to some of those giveaways. I think that was a great idea.
That'll be fun. That'll be really
fun.
It's a wonderful thing, Chuck. You do.
So anyway, and then to be honest, and I've said this before too. When we get into manufacturing of this system, which I do hope is soon, and I hope you guys get some good news.
That's the royal we.
That's all I can say, right? But what I really want to do too, like when these get into mass production, I want to reach out to Intellivision or even get one myself. I'd like to give away some Amico related stuff, or maybe even an Amico on the channel.
I have some stuff to donate to that. Actually, I have some physical editions that I don't necessarily need.
Okay.
That you can use as a giveaway, sir.
So well, then there you go too. So there you have it.
If anybody wants them, I don't know. Things are so right now that people may not want them, but we have them.
I mean, if it ever comes to it, our channel has a pre-order in place.
Yeah,
we are going to be giving away one as well.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that, to where we can kind of, you guys have done so much in supporting and everything this show, that to give away an Amico, some games, some merchandise, whatever we can on this show, I think would really give back to you guys a lot. And once again, I appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving. Whatever you're eating, if you're eating flamingo or if you're eating turkey, I guess you guys are going to eat turkey and be boring. I'm kidding. Don't ever.
I'm going to have ham as well.
Ooh.
I will not be having ham.
Well, yeah, you're Jewish, so you never have ham.
He's going to have a pork chop.
Right.
That's about as funny as you having pork chop, sir.
I like a good roll and some stuffing. Particularly the stuffing that's cooked inside the bird is my favorite.
All right. Well, you did the poll, and
the poll. Yes, let me close the poll.
Turkey.
I can't believe you guys. Sweet potatoes didn't win.
I know.
Shenanigans, sir.
Wow.
But
sweet potatoes only 7%, 39% turkey, stuffing at 31 though, right behind it. Wow.
Yes, thank you, Indy. Put up Indy's comment. Pretty sure me and Mullis won't be eating any pork. That is correct. That is correct.
Devil meat.
Oh.
I have multiple Jewish friends and most of them eat pork.
What about this though?
My grandmother, God bless her soul, was Orthodox. My grandparents were Orthodox. When my grandmother went out to a restaurant, she had the occasional BLT.
Those are delicious. Bacon.
Bacon
is really not even pig. It's just
right. Bacon is not pig.
It's just bacon. There's so much, mostly salt. So
you pay for it in other ways. You're good.
That's right. So stuffing.
I'm picturing the sweet potatoes and marshmallows.
Oh,
I know.
Yes.
Well, that's what this. Yeah, I should have added that to this. Well, they don't. You can only do so many for these polls. You can only do so many characters. It's like 20 characters or something. So you can't really put much.
No, you put marshmallows on sweet potatoes.
No. Oh, you definitely do.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's a
absolutely. You gotta toast them, and they're toasted and brown on there.
No, I have brown sugar, like butter and pecans that you put on there. It makes a
All right,
nice.
so I would. Okay, so hold on though.
It's so much better. So much better.
So hold on. I will. The pecans sound really good.
Oh,
So
pecan pie is my
I
favorite.
might have to do pecans and marshmallows.
You mean
see how
pecans?
that works out.
Pecan.
Now, brown sugar, butter,
those
that you just cold butter that you just work into it, and pecans. You break up the pecans a little bit. You put that on there, and then it becomes like your topping.
We will try pecans.
That is where you need to go. You don't need the marshmallows, man. You don't need
the
that.
marshmallows.
Put some almond milk on there.
That's how I get my kids to eat it.
Mr. Stay Puffed.
Trust me, they will
never
eat
order
it.
a whole
They
roast
will eat it with a brown sugar, butter, pecan mixture. They will like that. Trust me. See,
right.
John Alvarado's warming up to it, sir.
So I will give you a word. So I'm going to teach you a word.
Oh, PJ, marshmallow fluff. Ah, come on.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Wrong.
Candy pecan.
Going to teach you boys a Yiddish word. Candy
pecans are awesome. I have a recipe for like some cinnamon sugar, like
oh, you like that?
candy pecans, and those are amazing.
Hold on, I'm going to teach you a word. The word we use for pig when we are is called treif. It's a Yiddish word.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce that with this amount of alcohol.
Treif, or as my grandmother would say, treifadick. It's basically a Yiddish word.
That sounds lewd, sir.
It's a Yiddish word that means unclean.
It is up inside the bird.
That word sounds unclean the way you said it.
How do you?
I do have the accent. I roll the R's and
Unless it's stuffed cabbage or pierogies.
Leave it to Mike to take the stream into the dumps, guys.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we're going to end it. We are at the 2-hour mark. Can't believe we did it.
We're ended on a low note.
And we ended on a very low note, everyone. We will see you next week for Amico Forever. Thanks a lot.
Happy gaming, everybody.
Take care.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Love you.